Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
Okay, we are back with Stanley Parable number 2. Last time I believe we went exactly where they wanted us to, so let's this time, do our own thing. Find out the rest of the things. What happened to our people? What happened to, what all went down, Anyways, I'm Space Cadet. This is Stanley Parable. Let's figure this out.
This is the story of a...
Skip that. We already seen all that. We all know what goes on. Okay? Listen, we're back. We're what? 427 employees.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
A little bit of stutter there. Okay, what's with the stuttering? FPS at 60. You telling me to go to the meeting room? Just gonna go around doing. Wait, that was a computer. That was on. That was on. Okay, wait a minute. Let's go back and look for computers that are on, and let's turn them all off.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Okay, can't go back into my room. I'm a mouse. Okay. So I believe we got all of them in this section. So let's just move on. No doors there. Can we open up these doors? Oh, okay. Interesting. 3 chairs. Okay, you know what?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
You know what? I said I was going to go against. What if the door on the left has computers that are on that we can turn off? Let's go right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yeah, that's exactly what Stanley wanted to do. Oh.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Yeah.
Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Except for it's a mess. But hey, other than that.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Are you sure about that?
Normal office room. You know what? Let's not go that way. Let's keep going straight.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Well, you know what? Same could be said about me. What is this, planning room? I wonder what they're making. Constructing new, things for those cameras to watch more people.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Really?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Who is she, though? That's the question. I mean, if it's... I don't like this. I really don't like this. This is not right. And you give me no details and a pitch black
room. Fantastic.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Why is his voice so shaky? If I pick up this phone, is it gonna be like those hands that come through and like choke me till I die? What? All right, let's pick it up.
sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right.
Banana bread?
Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about
Your damn. This is not
Gotcha.
okay.
Oh, come
This
on.
needs to stop.
Did you
now.
actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Aha, my soul. That was just disrespectful. No, I'm leaving.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
No, you jerk.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Good morning, employee 427. Press J on your keyboard. I'm going to press G. H. Any other letter besides J? Nope. Okay.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Well, you know what?
But in his mind,
Doesn't have to
in
be
his
that way.
mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Wow. J.
And so he began to fantasize about his
okay.
own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Spend time with the boys. You know what? Say no more.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Press N to prepare
As he
dinner.
wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Press G.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be?
Figures.
In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Whichever one you decide it is. Let's be real here.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I was just looking for the sports channel, Gary.
Well, he just told me to press the button. Oh.
A few moments later.
Listen, I'll sit here all day, because now it gives me the freedom to talk. Listen, what's up with this guy and his BS, okay? First, he tricks me. Then I go to prepare lunch. It becomes file cabinets. I try to watch TV. It becomes a clock and another file cabinet. And then I try to talk. And you know what happens? My room becomes a desk. And now, I can't do anything except for just press L even after he trash talked me. So how long do I wait here until he realizes that I'm right and he's wrong? You know what?
You see?
Fine.
Can he
L.
just
There
not
you
hear
go.
me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Press I to question nothing.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Oh. Okay. He tried again and Stanley pushed a button. I pushed a button. I pushed
Stop
space.
it. Get some help.
We back at our 9 to 5 again. Okay, that is
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
keep repeating the same line, man. 24. Whoa, hold on, we got something here. Oh, on the desk, okay. Oh, wait a minute. Do I gotta go back now all the way? Will there be another computer line? Because I just... Did the other one turn on? That's just a sharpener. That guy got some boring job. Just sharpens pencils all day. Interesting. Okay, so let's go back to that one that was on. Is it this one right here? Put received. A purple bar. Alright, we shall continue on. This time I'm gonna go left path again. Like I did the very first gameplay. See if there's any...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
Yeah,
he
shut up.
entered the
I'm going
door on
left.
his left.
Alright, let's still with the bright lights.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Tips for not getting fired.
Feeling a wave
Talk
of
less.
disbelief,
Say
Stanley
no
decided to
more.
go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Alright.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Should I go upstairs? Should I go down? Downstairs. Can't go through that door. Oh. Can't see. I can't really see. Dude, not... Oh, hey, a car.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
What?
And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
I just
And
saw
for
this
that
nature of the
matter,
game.
these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what
Nightmare,
a relief
not a
Stanley
dream.
felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared.
Oh,
it
what's
was
up?
so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head.
What's that?
One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
I can't get to
Hearing
talk.
the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? And this voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up.
Oh, all
He
right.
felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me
Wake
continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want.
Wake up.
I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Really?
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
That was uncomfortable.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Just turned and ran. Did she at least call an ambulance or the cops? How it ends can't be how it ends. We figured things out. Hey, you know what? We are back. And you know what? I think it's time to end this episode of Stanley Parable. I mean, that was a ride. Too much for me to handle to play another one right now. I mean, what? I mean, the guy just fell over and died. I mean, is this all in his head? Is this all in my head? Is this even real? The real question will lie, hopefully, in the next episode. Josh, that was very rude of you to call me and interrupt my gameplay. I'm looking at you now, buddy. If you like this episode, you know, hit like, hit the bell, hit subscribe, share, do what you feel is necessary. You know, if you made this far, I thank you for joining me, and I hope we will continue together and explore the cosmos. It is a vast space. Next up, I don't know. Just have to see. Bye.